Welcome. So I'm back today with a story time. I'm gonna be doing quite a few story times because a lot of crazy things happen to me in my life, and sometimes it's just like, why? Do you know what I mean? So anyway, so my story time today, if you read from the caption, is a time where I was conversing with somebody for more than a year, thinking it was somebody else, and I actually met up with them. So can I even say it's a catfish? Because technically he didn't do anything wrong, but neither did I. Do you know what I mean? Okay, anyway, I'm just gonna get into the story and listen to the stupidness that's happened to me. Yeah, all right, cool. I signed up with an employment agency over here in London, yeah, and at this employment agency, my contact's name is Ben. When I was moving to Canada, obviously, because Ben is a really nice guy, he's a really nice guy, and I told him that I was moving, and he just said, oh my god, I wish you all the best and all the rest of it. He just said, oh, I might even can send you some money so you can get me a Canada Goose thing. So we were on that type of level, friendly enough talking, right? Cool. So I left April 2019, and I was going to stop off in Atlanta first. So I stayed in Atlanta for about a month, I think, or a month and a little bit, and then I went to Canada, right? So during that time, I'm WhatsApping Ben, right? So I'm just like, yeah, I've left now, and he just like, oh my god, like, you know, have a safe flight, let me know when you land. And bear in mind, I've known Ben for years. Like, he's been my employment contact for years. I've known him for years. So he's just like, oh yeah, let me know when you land, and this, that, and that. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm in Atlanta now, and I was like, yeah, I've landed. He's like, okay, cool, what are you gonna do over there? Just chill with family? I'm like, yeah. And me and Ben are talking like on a pally thing, right? So then got to Canada now, and I'm like, yeah, I've landed in Canada, like, I'm gonna start my new life and whatever. And he just like, yeah, I'm so proud of you, rare tear, and this person's talking to me. And I'm like, okay, cool. Every other day, either I would message or he would message and be like, how you doing? How's it going? How's the job hunt going? And see, that wasn't even a red flag to me, because like I said, he was my employment agent. So him asking me how's the job hunt going kind of seemed in character for what he would normally, do you know what I'm saying? Anyway, girl. So he was just like, how's the job hunt going? I'm like, oh, it's not going too good. He's like, don't worry, stick it out, you'll get something, this, that, and that. And I'm like, cool, all right, Ben, yeah, I can always count on you to tell me, like, do you know what I'm saying? Anyway, got a job now. I was just like, oh my god, Ben, I got a job, blah, blah, blah. And Ben's just like, yeah, I'm so proud of you, rare tear. Now, every so often he would message and be like, how's it going? How's the weather? Blah, blah. And that's fine with me. Getting closer to when I've decided that I was going to come back home now. So this was like in November times, I decided, okay, you know what, I'm actually gonna leave Canada. That's gonna be a whole other video as to why I left, but yeah. So I was just like, I decided I'm gonna leave Canada and I'm gonna come back to the UK and stuff like that. So he is my employment contact, or was, and I still have contact with him. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'm just gonna message him and be like, yeah, I might need you to help me find a job when I come back or whatever. Cool. So now I messaged him and I'm like, yeah, Ben, I'm coming back now, you know what I mean, and I'm gonna need you to help me find a job. And Ben was like to me, yeah, that's fine, when you come back, just drop me your CV. That's another thing that wasn't a red flag to me, because every time I spoke to Ben in relation to work and finding a job, he always used to tell me, send him an updated CV. So that didn't even faze me. It wasn't a thing of like, don't you already have my CV? Because I knew he always asked me for an updated one. So when he said, when you come back, just drop me a CV, I was just like, cool, say nothing, but I'm gonna go to Atlanta first for Thanksgiving, and then I'm gonna come home. And he was just like, yeah, that's fine. Went to Atlanta for Thanksgiving. He's like, oh, how's Thanksgiving going? How's Black Friday? And we're still having this conversation, and I'm talking to Ben. Right. Got back to London now, and I'm messaging Ben, and I'm like, all right, yeah, so, you know, I'm back in London now, so I was wondering if you can, like, you know, help me find a job and stuff. And he's just like, yeah, that's cool. He was just like, do you want to schedule a meeting? Now, when I initially met Ben, I met him at his offices somewhere kind of far. So I was just like, okay, cool. Then he was just like, oh no, I'm gonna be in Liverpool Street on this and this day at this and this time seeing a client, so we can just meet there at this what's the word, at this Can't remember the word, but it's basically like a hotel bar, in it. Now, remember I said Ben is like, he's like loosely, but he's my brethren, innit? So I'm like, okay, cool. He's asked me to meet him in a hotel bar. That's fine. Like, it's only Ben. Like, do you know what I'm saying? So he was just like, yeah, print out your CV and bring it. I said, okay, cool. Printed out my CV. I remember I was even talking to Shauna about it, because at one point Shauna was also with this employment agency, and that's how I met Ben, through her. So I was talking to Shauna, I was just like, yeah, so I'm gonna what's it called? I'm gonna meet Ben and this, that, and that. And then Shauna was just like, raw, like when I used to message Ben never used to answer me. So this is me now being my place. I was just like, well, obviously you don't got the kind of talking that, and I'm taking the piss out of her. And she just like, nah, man, that's disrespect, because I be calling Ben and I be messaging Ben and he don't reply to me. He barely replies to my email. And I'm thinking, that's real strange, because I be WhatsApping Ben. Like, every time I WhatsApp Ben, he messages me back. Like, so I don't understand why he's airing your thing, innit? I'm like, don't worry, when I meet up with him, I'm gonna draw him out. I'm gonna be like, why you airing Shauna? Because really and truly, I met him through Shauna. Cool. So now I get dressed. I put on my Sunday best, guys. Well, maybe not my Sunday best. Maybe the Saturday afternoon barbecue best, yeah. And like, I put on like something decent enough, because I know I was gonna meet him in Liverpool Street at a hotel bar, and we're gonna talk business, yeah, and what I'm looking for and stuff like that. Now, before I go any further, can I just say to you guys, in person, I've seen Ben one singular time, and that was maybe 3.5, 4 years ago, well, prior to when this situation was happening. So in my head, I had an image of what he looked like. I didn't know for a fact, like I could tell you exactly what color Shauna's eyes are, I could tell you everything, like, but I didn't know that about Ben. But I'm like, it's one of them ones where like, I know what he looks like, but I can't remember right now. But I know if I see him, I'm gonna be like, yeah, that's Ben, kind of thing. So that's all I was thinking, right? So now, so I got to the place, Liverpool Street, and I remember I even showed Shauna. Shauna was just like, and he's meeting you at Liverpool Street. I'm like, yeah. And she's just like, okay, maybe he's down this way seeing somebody or something. I'm like, yeah, maybe. Cool. So anyway, I roll up to Liverpool Street now, roll up to the bar, and then I walked in and I asked the concierge. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm meant to be having a meeting in here. I'm meeting my employment agent, Ben, and whatever. I said the last name, but obviously I'm not going to say it on the video. But I was just like, I'm meeting Ben. And then she's just like, oh, there's nobody here by the name of Ben, but you can have a seat and look at the drinks menu while you wait. I said, okay, cool. Now, obviously, this is going to be a semi-professional kind of meeting, so I'm not going to drink anything, right? Cool. So I'm sitting there now, and I'm waiting, and I'm messaging. I think our meeting was meant to be for, what, like 5:36 or something like that. I messaged him, because now it's getting like 6:10 or something, like it's just going a little bit past. I messaged him, like, oh, where are you? I'm here. And then he's just like, oh, I'm here too. And I'm like, well, I don't see you. So now I'm looking around. Now, I'm even jumping forward. Guys, listen to how the ambiance of the place was, right? So I walked in, real dim. Like, it's one of the ones you kind of got to squint to be like, who's that? Can you see who that is? It's one of them ones, yeah. I couldn't really see properly. I'm thinking, why would Ben also? But I was like, okay, you know, whatever. Benefit of the doubt. Again, he's my boy, innit? So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. Real low dim settings. When I walked in, it's real intimate. And the people that were already there, they were like coupley, like they were, you know, them ones where you kind of sit close to the guy like this or whatever. There's one woman sitting close to the guy and then they're talking and she's all fingering his face and stuff, and I'm thinking, okay, get a room, like it's a hotel, go upstairs, boo, like what are you doing? Anyway, now, so I'm just like, okay, cool. So I'm messaging him, I'm like, yeah, bro, like where are you? Like I'm sitting here, whatever. He's just like, wait, and I'm like, I'm sitting near the door. So then I see this person walk up and then he's just like, hi D'Angelo, you're right, da da da. Now, okay, now, remember I said I kind of have an image in my head of what Ben looks like. I knew Ben was tall. This guy was tall. Ben is obviously was black. This guy was black. I felt like as though Ben was Caribbean, but this guy was African. But I'm like, hey, maybe I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? So I said, maybe I've been getting it wrong all these years. Simple mistake. I said, okay, cool. I vaguely remember Ben being slim. Maybe not even, vaguely it's probably even too far of a, like, I'm pretty sure that Ben is a slim guy, but this guy, he's bigger. Not fat per se, but he's on the brink of uncle body, innit? And I was just like, is this Ben? And I'm like, okay, maybe Ben let himself go, boy. That's what I was thinking. I was just like, ooh, he's been eating. Who am I to talk? Because I've been eating too, do you know what I'm saying? So I was just like, okay, cool, whatever. Anyway, got up and I was just like, you alright? He's like, yeah, cool. And I'm talking to him. And oh, and that's another thing. When I speak with Ben on the phone, he has a really, not posh, but he speaks properly. Yeah? And so did this guy. So I said, okay, this has to be Ben. Only for the simple fact that he probably gained weight and I just don't remember exactly what his face looked like. I'm like, this has to be Ben, whatever. So I'm sitting there now and I'm talking to this brother and I'm just like, yeah, so hi, you alright? He's like, how was your trip? And he's like, oh, it's so sad that it didn't work out for you. And I'm like, yeah, man. And I'm talking to him and stuff like that. So we're talking and red flag number one, right? It came about when I was like, oh yeah, I'm looking for a job and all the rest of it. And he was just like, oh, okay, what kind of sector are you looking for? Now, Ben knows what sector I'm looking, because like I said, for years, he's been my employment agent. So I'm just like, you know what kind of thing I'm looking for. Like, I'm not trying to go back into housing like I was doing from before and stuff. And he's just like, okay, yeah. And he was just like, oh, do you have your CV? I was just like, cool. Gave him over my CV and that. And he's looking at it. He's like, oh, okay, so you're based in Hackney. Red flag number two. Ben knows this. Because he's always taking, on the phone, he's always taking the piss out of me that I'm from East London. So I'm like, okay. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, why are you acting odd? Like, so I'm thinking maybe he's trying to have this meeting be proper professional, right? Cool. So he's looking through the CV now. Oh, I can see you have a bit of housing experience. That's, out of all the red flags that have come so far, that's the biggest red flag. Because all these jobs of the housing experience, Ben was the one that got it for me. So I'm like, you see I have housing experience? Brother, don't you know I have housing? You're the one that put me there. Like, what are you talking about? So I'm like, no, what is actually happening? What is actually happening? He was just like, oh, talk to me about this job that you were in. He called the name of the job. I'm not going to say it, obviously, because I don't want people to know where I used to work and stuff. Right? So he was just like, oh, what about da-da-da-da-da? Like, tell me about your experience there. Now, that's when I knew something is afoot. Because this particular job, it was wahala from the beginning to the end, yeah? And you knew about it because, like, everybody knew about it. Even people that weren't even with the employment agency knew about the situation that was going on with me and the manager at that job. So that's how I knew. I was just like, bitch, this ain't Ben. I said no. I was like, no. Somebody ain't doing the math right.
Somebody ain't doing the math right.
It's not adding up. I was like, who is this? So I'm like, you know what's happened? And he just like, oh yeah, but like, just talk it through to me. Talk me through it again. Now, that's one thing though, what I would say. There was little things that I was saying, and if you were genuine, you would have been like, oh no, I don't know. Or you would have said like, what are you talking about? So that both of us could realize that, oh, we were actually talking to the wrong person. Or like, oh, that I was talking to the wrong person. But I mentioned the job. And then I was just like, you know what happened? I was like, come on, Ben, you know what happened with me at that job. And he was just like, yeah, but just tell me what happened again. And I'm like, really? Why do I need to tell you what happened again? Then also we have a friend named Stephanie who also is a part or was a part of the employment agency. Yeah, and I was like, you remember Stephanie, innit? He was just like, yeah, I do remember Stephanie. And so why are you lying and saying that you remember Stephanie and that you remember like the situation with my job, but you just want me to go over it again? So now he's now feeding into it because I feel like he now realized that I'm talking to the wrong person, but he didn't want to like mash up the things. So I'm like, okay, what the hell is this? So anyway, go back to when I realized that it wasn't the right Ben. I was just like, shit. So then I went on my phone or whatever, and he was just like, oh, do you want another drink? Because at this point he ordered me a drink, right? when he first sat down, he was just like, oh, can I have a this? I don't even remember what he ordered. And he was like, what do you want? I was just like, no, it's fine, it's cool. Because in my head, I'm thinking, I'm here for a meeting. Like, I'm not really going to be drinking. He was like, no, just get her a da-da-da-da. And I was just like, okay, cool, get me a JD and pineapple juice. And then the bartender asked if I wanted it single or double, or the waiter, sorry, asked if I wanted it single or double. And I remember I was like, single. He's just like, no, she'll take a double. I'm thinking, what kind of, what? Anyway, girl. So yeah, so when I realized it was not the right Ben, right? I thinking, so who the hell is this? Who have I been talking to for over a year? Who is this? Who is this? Nah, I was actually getting, so then now my heart is now budum, because what, who am I sitting here with in this secluded back of the hotel bar, real dim. Remember how I told you the setting is looking real like come Heatherish settings. So I was just like, nah, what's going on? So anyway, so I messaged Shauna so quick. I was just like, brother, this ain't Ben. So she's like, what? Now. So now I've realized, so I'm not trying to alarm my man, innit? Because I don't know what he's gonna do. I don't know if he's gonna be like, come here, kind of thing, yeah? So I'm trying to talk to him more normally, and it's like, yes, but these times, trust me, I could have pissed myself right there, because now I'm shook, innit? He was like to me, oh, do you want another drink? And I'm like, no, I don't want another drink. And he was just like, okay, hold on, let me go pay for the bar tab. So he gets up and goes to the bar, right? I messaged Shauna so quick. I was like, bitch, they say Ben. She's like, who is it? What are you talking about? I've just called Ben, but he's not answering the phone. And now we're both panicking, yeah? So I was just like, you're going to have to call me in like 5 minutes. Call me in 5 minutes, yeah? So then hang up. Not even hang up. Put the phone down. So he comes over and I'm like, yeah. So then now Shauna calls me. So I'm on the phone and I'm just like, yeah. I was just like, oh my God, where are you? I was just like, oh, you're early. I was just like, okay, yeah, well, I'm almost done with my meeting. This time, Shauna is just on the phone, breathing all heavy in my ear. She was probably playing video games, knowing her. She's probably playing COD or something. Yeah, and she's all breathing heavy, and she's just like, nah, this is actually a madness. And I'm like, who are you? I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to meet you out there. No, so we'll just meet up. I know, I haven't seen you in so long. Oh, my God. And I'm saying some next thing, yeah. So then I hung up, and he's like, oh, you got to go. I'm like, yeah, I'm meeting my cousin, because, I just came back from Canada and stuff, and she hasn't seen me in a long time, so she wants just us to go and chill out or whatever. He's like, oh, tell your cousin to come along, like I'll order us food and get us. I was like, nah, like she's been working all day as well, like she's really tired. She literally, I don't think she'll even be up for meeting like new people and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna go meet her and stuff like that. And I was like, but thank you so much. I was like, but do remember me, like, look out for the job. He's like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna look out for you for a job. By this time I'm talking and I'm already getting up with my bag. I'm already getting up with my bag, getting ready to go. You know that LeBron James meme? He said, well, he's in front of the mic when I think they were talking in the press conference, and he just picked up his bag and ready to go. I said what I had to say, and I was bouncing, guys. So then now, the next Monday now, just to kind of give you like just to round it off a bit. Yeah, the next Monday now, I called Ben. I went on my email and I got the actual office number and I called it and I was like, let me speak to Ben. Spoke to Ben. I was just like, brother, you would not believe what happened. And I told him everything. And when I tell you, Ben laughed at me. He laughed at me. He laughed. Even those that, according to Nella, even those that have laughed before have not laughed like that. The way he laughed at me, he was just like, you're such an idiot. He's like, when do I ever message you? And I thought, you've always messaged me, bro. And he's just like, nah, I don't message you. He's just like, I don't message you. And he's like, I always call you off the work phone. I don't know. I felt like, I don't know. But I basically got catfished, kind of. So now, it made me think, where did I get this Ben's number from? So I had to go into the depths of my brain. And if you can ask anybody, my memory's not always there. But I had to scrape to the backs of my brain, yeah. And I remember where it was from. When I was leaving, that job I was talking about, that one that I had all the pasta in and stuff. Yeah, when I was leaving that job, they did a leaving drinks for me. And I went to be at one. And then this uncle met me in there. That's the one time I met him too. So yeah, vaguely I didn't even remember his face. he met me there and he was all trying to chat to me and he was all name dropping, saying, oh, I know this person, know that person, and all the rest of it and stuff like that. And then he was just like, yeah, can I have your number? I can, and da 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 da. And I think I gave him my number out of the fact of like, okay, just take my number and go, because he wouldn't leave me alone kind of thing. You're probably thinking, why didn't you just give him a fake number? Because he was dialing it right. He's like, I'm gonna one drop you now, save my name. And and his name is Ben. I saved it as Ben, but not Ben whatever, or Ben at B@1, just so you know, or Ben don't answer or whatever. Like, I didn't do anything. I wasn't exercising wisdom, guys. I really wasn't. But yeah, anyway, but that's basically the gist of it, innit? Like, I was talking to the wrong Ben for almost a year and a bit. And I went to meet up with him for job prospect. These times it was the man that was actually trying to... Whatever, man. I'm just a mess, okay? I'm just a mess. But anyway, that's the end of that story. I'll have another story time sometime in the future, so you can hear about other crazy stuff. I'll probably give you stories about I moved to Canada. Ooh, I got a good story. Ooh! Next time, innit? I got a nice one already. Next time. But yeah, so anyway, thank you for listening to me tell you my crazy story. And again, thank you for subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Like, I know my mom always told me not to beg people. My mom and my grandma stop beg people, but may I beg you, please touch the subscribe button for me. All right, anyway, I'll see you guys in a bit, innit? Bye.